Welcome to the Iron Asylum. I'm here with Mike Holton, multiple-time bodybuilding champion in Australia. Mike, welcome to the Iron Asylum.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
No worries at all. Now, we did this video quite a while ago now. It's probably actually a few years ago for the old Aussie Bodybuilder site. I've been very lazy getting it done, so I want to thank you for doing a voiceover with me. Now, what titles have you won in bodybuilding? I know you've won the Southern Hemispheres, that was a year or two ago.
Okay, well, I started competing in 2000, where I won Mr. Australia Class 2 and was lucky enough to represent Australia overseas in Mr. Universe, where I didn't do very well at all. Then I competed in 2002, the Mr. Australia, and I only placed third, I think, in that competition. Then through multiple knee injuries, I had a few years off. Shoulder injuries back then. Actually, I had 3 shoulder surgeries. Then I didn't compete till 2005, and I competed in the NABA Mr. International, which I won my class on overall. Then followed up with the Southern Hemisphere competition, which I won my class on overall. Then 2006, I won the Mr. International class on overall. Southern Hemisphere, went up and won my class, but didn't win overall. Then in 2007, I competed in NABA Mr. Australia, which I won my class. Then 2009, I competed in the Mr. International, which I won my class on overall. And then back up to the Southerns, which I placed second and pissed me off badly. So I went back really hard for that year and trained my ass off and came back and won the Southerns class on overall.
So you've actually won more titles than I thought you'd won. I saw you first compete in 2007 at the NABA Nationals, where you was very close to winning that overall.
Yep.
And I think one of the things about your physique is you just kind of have that stage presence. Like when you come out, you think you're a winner immediately. So I think that obviously bodes well for you. How long was you actually training before you competed in 2000?
Look, I started training, well, really, back when I was probably 17, just when I was playing footy like most Aussie kids. And then played it up until obviously I was sort of in early 20s. And then probably around 21, 22, I started getting a little bit more serious about lifting weights, not bodybuilding, but lifting weights. And probably when I was 23, I started becoming, well, a wannabe bodybuilder.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you and your wife, Georgia Holton, both compete. She competes in the figure in NABA, and you compete in, obviously, in bodybuilding. How is it like, both of you in the same household, dieting and prepping for shows? Do you prep at the same time, or do you kind of like to keep it separate? Like
Look, you know what? We've tried both ways, with obviously one of us just doing a show and then obviously doing them together. For us, it seems to work better if we both diet at the same time, even though the household's very quiet and we don't talk much and we're both a little bit grumpy. At least we're sort of heading the same direction in life. Whereas when we've had just say Georgia, for instance, just competing, you're sort of on different wavelengths. And, while one person wants to go out and catch up with friends and maybe go out for dinner, the other person is focused on, their goals and get ready for the competition. It didn't seem to work for us, so we prefer to diet together. Plus, we always try, and after a competition, we have our holiday. So we look forward to that, sharing that experience together. So it works better for us dieting together.
Yeah, sure. I think that makes sense. Now, this is obviously an arm training video. This was just after you competed. I'm not sure if it was at the Southerns or where it was, but you trained quite heavy for arms. Like I noticed a lot of your movements, even from the start, you were doing quite heavy bicep curls, and then you moved on to some very heavy reverse grip bench presses. Do you always train heavy on arms?
Look, I don't train as heavy as I used to probably back a few years ago. I used to be really stupidly strong, and that's, I think, why I've done so much joint damage. So it's probably through injury I've had to learn to back the weights off a lot, actually, especially with legs and shoulders. So I don't lift half the weight that I used to do. But yeah, look, always we're trying to lift as much weight as we possibly can, but, I try and keep a good technique as well. But it's always about, trying to lift as much weight as possible.
Yeah, sure. With those reverse grip bench presses, as people see in this video, I can't remember exactly how much you're doing on them, but what's your kind of the highest amount of weight you've used on those?
Shit, man, that was probably almost 2 years ago now. I was scratching my brain as well. If I remember correctly, when we shot that video, it was probably 4 weeks after the Southerns, and Georgia and I had just come back from a holiday actually in Thailand, so we hadn't trained for a couple of weeks. So I would suggest that we're probably be about 75 to 80% of what I would normally do.
Wow, and I've actually showed people that bit of footage where you're doing reverse grip bench presses, and they've kind of flipped out about how much weight you're using. So.
Nah, man, we're all too skinny.
Well, I don't think many people would say that. Now, you've had a bit of a knee injury of late. I remember seeing you at the NABRA International this year, and you mentioned it, but it's kind of keeping you from competing and obviously training to the maximum of your legs.
Yep.
How's that going for you? Like, is it kind of correcting itself, or what?
Man, it's been the most frustrating thing of my entire life, and if I could turn back time and undo the surgery, I really would. It's obviously played havoc with my bodybuilding, but it is getting better slowly. I've actually, by chance, met a guy who does a technique called rolfing, and I'd never heard of it. So I'd seen every physio and osteo, and God knows which doctor in Melbourne to try and get things going in, and had no luck. And I met this guy, Nicholas Barbaras, from the Rolfing Centre. He had me in 8 sessions from not being able to squat my body weight back up to squatting 4 plates aside.
Wow, that's excellent.
So he understands, it's not just the treatment, he understands body integration. And for example, to rectify my knee problem, he would start from my feet up through my Achilles, all the calf, the gastroc, obviously back to the hemi, all the way up to the hip and to the lower back. All that treatment is, he understands body integration, so he understands it's all connected. It's one little thing out can obviously upset everything.
Yep. Is that like a massage technique, or what is it?
It's not massage. I guess you would, how could I describe it? I guess you closely relate it to like a deep tissue fascia stretching type technique, but at the same time, he's manipulating obviously muscles and tendons and ligaments into where he thinks they should be. And he'll do a little treatment, and he'll say, stand up for a second and have a look at you, and you'll go, yep, that's starting to come out a little bit more, that's pulling that way, and he'll do a little bit more. So it's all about, I guess, realigning everything.
Yep, no worries. Now, when's your next show, Mike? Because people are going to want to know when you're going to be on stage next.
Well, look, I was trying to get back on stage for the Southern that have just passed. Obviously, that didn't happen. Then I was hoping to do these shows in 5 weeks' time, but I'm definitely not doing that either. So, look, I'm hopeful to be back on stage for May next year, but I'm not committing to anything at this stage. It's just literally I'm playing it by ear.
Yeah, for sure. Now, your company UPS, you obviously own your own supplement company.
Yep.
How's that going for you? Is there anything coming out soon, or tell us a little bit about your company?
Well, obviously, I started UPS. Well, I started making my own supplements actually back in 2006. I was lucky enough to meet some, how can I put it, some interesting people in the industry who told me happy to share a few things with me. And I wasn't happy with what I heard, so I started having my own supplements made, just for myself in Georgia. And then, of course, a few friends asked me to get them some as well, and that's how then it just grew and grew and grew. And there was no such thing as UPS back then. We were just making some product on the side. And then in 2009, we were getting so many orders, like we were getting over a ton of orders for protein, that for legal reasons, we had to register a business, and that's when UPS was formed. And back then, I really didn't have any passion for, becoming a supplement. Nick Jones has done it, Eddie Tanuji, everyone sort of done it. I didn't want to be a follower, and I was working full time back then. But then it just sort of just became a passion of mine, and I thought, well, what the hell? It's what I love doing. I'm passionate about nutrition and the industry. So I quit my job and focused full time on this. That's
excellent. Now, I want to thank you for being in the Asylum, Mike. So you'll be hopefully prepping next year in 2013. Thanks for being in the Asylum.
Thanks for having me, man.
Day. Something in here's not right today. Why am I so uptight today? Paranoia is all I got left. I don't know what stressed me first, how the pressure was fed, but I know just what it feels like to have a voice in the back of my head, like a face that I hold inside, face that awakes when I close my eyes, face that I watch every time I lie, face that laughs every time I fall. So I know that when it's time to sink or swim, the face inside is hearing me right underneath my skin. It's like a paranoid looking over my path. It's like a whirlwind inside of my head. It's like I can't stop what I'm hearing within. It's like the face set me on first, but I know what I can't stand. Everybody acts like the fact of the matter is I can't add up to what you can, but everybody has a face that they hold inside. Face that awakes when I close my eyes. Face that watches every time they lie. Face that laughs every time they fall. So you know that when it's time to sink or swim,